Hey everybody, Mark Russo here, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips for helping your short game around the greens, especially in close. A couple of in-swing things and a couple of concept things in terms of course management and things that I see in my lessons. The first one is going to be a contact drill, a very simple thing that I think helps a lot of people around the greens. For me, when I look at helping someone short game, setup and contact are first. Distance control won't happen if you can't make a consistent setup that delivers the club and makes good, consistent contact. So we have to first start with setup, and then one of the issues that I see with people with the golf club in their setup is they will have a tendency to make the club work too in to the inside and try and chip from there. And what ends up happening is they will hosel a few, they will chili dip a few, or skip into the ball, and be very inconsistent in not only how they contact the ball, but how the trajectory of the flight is, because they can't deliver the club effectively. So next time you get to the chipping green, set up a club on the ground, or you can even make a little cardboard station here. I've got my Titleist divider here, but you can take a cardboard box and kind of cut it and make a little tent. And all I want you to do is just set it in there and get a feel for, we'll set the ball just a little forward, and get a feel for the club moving a little more out in front of this box. Now certainly it's going to move a little inside, it's going to arc, but to you it'll seem straighter back. And that'll help with the contact when you're getting the club going through the hitting zone. And what you want to feel is the club staying out in front and then down through the ball and exiting a little bit more left with a pivot towards the target, rather than inside where we might ram into this and then we might chili dip it or hosel it. So make sure the club stays a little more out. That may help you, and feel like it's almost working left through impact, and your contact will get a lot better. Now the other thing is going to be a management thing. I'll get my students in this situation a short side shot, and if it's thick rough where they can't putt it, and they'll immediately look at the distance between the edge of the green and the pin and get suckered in, thinking they have to put it in this zone where I've put the towel. You don't have to try and fit it out of the rough into a short zone here and end up leaving it short and a harder shot on the next one. Especially given your skill level, make sure you're getting it on the green and miss on the other side where I have the 2 circles, and give yourself a chance. So make sure when you get into the short side situation here, you are picking a generous landing zone and not trying to get cute and leaving it where you're going to fit it into that spot and leaving it, barely get it on the green, or leaving it in thicker rough. Make sure that you hit your spot and go past the pin. If nothing else, give yourself a putt. Don't leave it short. Don't get suckered into this space here, which I see a lot of. The last tip is going to be just a trajectory idea, and you've seen many versions of this, I'm sure, sort of different windows you can hit the ball. And one of the things that I've sort of changed into with my students is I've stopped trying to define where a chip and a pitch start and stop. And simply what I want them to understand is, look at the lie, look at the situation in front of them and the landing zone, and figure out what the lowest trajectory shot they can hit will be to land and hit their spot and end up close to the hole. Lower is usually the safer, more predictable route. And usually when I give a student a ball and ask them to throw it on the green, they go low. So look at the windows and don't try and decide whether it's a chip or a pitch. If it's a pitch and it needs to go in the air longer, you're just going to make a longer swing and a longer follow through. But right now, I want you to really visualize the trajectory you need, pick the club you need for that, and hit the trajectory. Don't try and define where your technique starts to change from a pitch or a chip. I think you'll find that it'll get a lot simpler for you, and you won't have any confusion in terms of what kind of technique you need to use. Simply set up for a small shot and make that swing bigger with more pivot, and swing with your body through with your arms as the shot gets longer. Don't try and change the technique from one distance to the next. If you simplify it and look at trajectory only, I think you'll find a lot better result and hit a lot more balls close to the hole. Hope that helps you, and we'll see you on the lesson tee.